fire beats again. As always, man. What's going on, bro? How you feeling?
How you doing, man?
It's good to see you, man. You got a special guest?
Yeah, man. Where we at, man?
I have no clue where you are,
We're gonna find out, man.
DCP somewhere in Ohio.
Yes, DCP,
I have no
corner
clue where
pocket,
you are, man. It's another good day, bro. It's another good day. You got another fire beat as usual.
Yeah,
My God, hey, Diddy. Somebody, this man right here. Somebody sign this man. He come up with these beats, they crazy, man. Man, I did a little golfing today. It's in the rain. It's kind of crazy out there.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy, man.
People was doing splits, clubs flying, all that, man. But I need you to encourage me a little bit, though, bro. I had a little something today.
Well, we got a guest here, though, man. So she just started smiling and stuff. So what is going on?
I was waiting to hear the score.
Oh, it's going to golf?
I guess if you needed encouragement,
It was rained out.
Yeah, it was rained out. Okay.
He said it was rained on out. He had to go home. He had a pout. And he was mad because he couldn't do that no more. He was at home like, oh no, shaking his head like, what do I do? Where do I go? Oh, so we gonna flow. It's DCP, corner pocket. You know, you got the boy D Nice and that boy Keys. We got this special guest. Oh, please, wait, please. You gonna find out real soon. All this fire, dog, she got for you. Ooh. And I'm gonna pass the mic. You know me, I keep the crowd hype all day and all night.
Yeah, this Keys here. Yeah, I wasn't shedding no tears. Yeah,
you was.
I hit the ball real far. I think I hit somebody's car. I don't know.
Yeah,
I left though, man. The window broke. So I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody's car got hit. We just joking, my God. But we want to thank you guys and welcome
DCP,
for
the corner pocket.
The corner pocket, man. We missed you guys. We haven't been in the studio in a while, man. I know y'all probably like, dude, when are you gonna get back? We need to see NBA jams in the background, Golden Tee. Hey, we on the road. It's DCP on the road, man. We go where the guests ask us to come, man. Hey, bro, how you been feeling, man? How's your week been, bro?
Hey, I'm doing real cool, man. But you know what? I want to say something real quick, man.
What you got, sir?
I know we was going to talk about this later, man, but I want to just go ahead. Yeah, you see it's me and Key, you know what I'm saying? And so it's still DCP, the corner pocket. You know, Truth, man, he went a different route. You know what I mean? And hey, Truth, we love you, dog. Man, we with you, man, and wish the best for you, man. So.
Wish you well, man. Hey, wish you well on your new path, man. So
absolutely,
no hard feelings. Like, you know, everybody has their own path and journey that they need to go on, and so, you know, wish you well with that. Blessings to you, man.
Blessings.
No hard feelings. It's all love. So you know, but my week was cool, man. Like working long hours. You know, people keep ordering and ordering stuff. You know, as a mail carrier, dude, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I think sometimes people just sit behind that computer and just and my little truck just be full, man. I feel like Santa Claus with that big bag, bro. You know, but it's all cool, man. Like I said, made it through. You know, I think every day is a blessing, man. You wake up and you're alive and you breathe and you see and you can hear, man. And so we have all our senses, and so like I'm just blessed, man. It's just a great day, bro.
Yeah, man. You know. So you asked me how was my week, man. My week was terrible, man. I had a bad week.
Terrible.
Yeah, it was a bad week, man. I had to work all week. I didn't hit the lottery, man. So yeah, it was terrible, man. Like, you know, I didn't.
Your numbers didn't come out.
No, I didn't like a millionaire. So yeah, it was
Did you
definitely
play
terrible.
1982 50-50?
I don't know what I played. I forgot, man. But I'm not a millionaire, so.
You know that game show, man. You should apply for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely lose. I'll definitely, yeah.
Or big bucks don't win. Be
That's why I play that. Yeah, I definitely play that game. Yes, sir.
Man, well, today, man, we have a special guest today. Y'all not ready, man. Like award-winning author. I'm not gonna go on more of that. I'm just gonna let y'all know we are here today. Can you take that from me, my bro?
Yeah. So, to my right, you see this young lady right here. Let me give you a little background and everything.
Let's go.
So we went to middle school together, and like we had a little crew or whatever. So she was part of the crew, but she was like an underclass, but she was part of the crew.
Hold on.
I mean, I don't shade her because
right no, what do you mean by that?
Okay, we were a couple of grades above, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't no shot, man.
She's a little underclass.
No.
We here, she here. kind of good like that.
Okay, we was like, what, 11th, and she was the 9th or 10th. I forgot, man. I was trying to see, oh, man, everyone.
You know, that's what happens with Michigan supporters.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
the Michigan fans, they lose their mind a little bit. So we gonna just blame it on your love for your team, man.
So like,
Go Bucks, though.
It's the segment that we had on the show. I said, I can't hear ignorance. He goes, that's all I heard. So I don't know what he said. But yeah. So you went to high school together.
One way and everything. But go ahead.
And you know, so and like back then, the handshake started to come out, right?
Right.
And you know, I was like, man, I want to make a handshake. And like, we was in the car. It was me, her, our homeboy Buddha, and I think Damon. I think also. And we was like, we're gonna make a handshake. So we was in the back seat and came up with this great handshake that I can't remember for nothing. But it was one of the greatest handshakes ever. Man. Like, everybody wanted to do it. Like, no, because it was our thing, man. But nah, man, this is a wait till you hear the story. I'm sorry.
What made y'all accept her into the crew? What was about her that? Because you know, most upperclassmen we don't really talk to the freshmen like that.
Yeah.
So what like made you guys like kind of bring her into the fold?
Well, my little crew that y'all was with was all goofy. You know what I'm saying? Like it was all jokes. Like so, and every day she came with different jokes. Every single day, like talked about some like corduroy high waters and stuff and everything.
Y'all was like that.
Yeah, man. But so I know her as a different name, but you know this transformation and everything, she has a whole different name and everything, and it's so beautiful that I always mess it up every time.
Shara.
What do you say that?
Shara.
I say Shara. I don't know why I say that, but it looks like Shara to me, man. But Shara Hutchinson, y'all, man. Hey, listen, man. I'm trying to tell y'all. I've been telling y'all about this, man. So it's about to happen. It's gonna happen right now, man. Shara Hutchinson, everybody, man.
Man, I remember the call we had the other night, man. I'm not gonna give y'all the details. We go out there just going to this thing, man. That call was fire, man. We got off the phone. See, you fanning yourself. You need a church fan?
I thought I got menopause because it's
You
hot,
need more
man. I'm hot,
you need more
man.
than a Finner Hall fan.
Hey, hold
don't
up,
you?
man. I'm hot. I got to take the shirt off, man.
You gotta take.
hot.
Go ahead, man.
I'm sorry,
Free
y'all.
yourself,
I'm
bro.
gonna turn on this. I apologize. Something's going on.
Something's going on, man.
Hey,
I don't know what's going on with this guy. He's emotional sometimes.
But you know one thing, man. You know I'm passionate and I love things.
Yeah,
you
I know,
what I'm
man. Yeah, for sure.
and stuff, and like, you know, this is my homie and I love her, man, cause you know, this is gonna impact somebody. And,
It's gonna impact somebody.
That DCP, we
Press
love
it off your shoulder, bro. Get it off.
We love everybody, man.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that we really do love, man. We
What's
love.
that?
Give us a bitch! Yeah! Hey, DCP! Sorry, I got to sit us. Give us a bitch! I got shit. Give us a bitch!
Hey, man. I told y'all, I don't know what this man gonna do. I'm surprised every time he does it. Give him a bitch. Please sponsor us, my God. We always get a shout out every show. He made a shirt.
I know, man. I got a whole routine, man. I got a whole movie I'm about to make about kibbles and bits. Come on, man.
And my dog name is Kibby, and she eats kibbles and
Kibbles and
bits.
bits, man.
Oh my God. Well, let's get. Bro, you did it again.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So we have Miss Hutchinson on with us, and I'm gonna let you take the lead on this, bro. This is what your crew. I'm gonna just ride. I'm in the backseat
Well, I just
ride.
want to say real quick, I'm so glad y'all didn't ask me to freestyle. So while y'all were doing yours, I was trying to
Yeah.
think of my
Because,
lyrics.
well, when we talk, I know when we talk.
What did I say?
Yeah, so like when we had that little pre interview stuff. You know, I told her, man, like, you can get into freestyle, but she looked kind of nervous. I didn't want you to be like,
She did.
you know, like Moose Hall, when he freestyled, he didn't rhyme. I didn't want to do that to you, man.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I respect you like that. So,
Oh, we love you, bro, but like,
Yeah.
that's not your calling, my guy. Like, you gotta stay in your lane, my man. Love you, bro. That was really
no
atrocious.
rhyming going on, so I didn't want to do that to you, man.
Man, so we have Miss Hutchinson here, man. We were talking on the phone, and you know, we'll just dive right into it. You are an author, and you wrote the book called Barefoot Boardroom.
Barefoot in the boardroom.
Barefoot in the Boardroom. So, what is that title right there just sticks out? Barefoot in the Boardroom. What does that mean? Where did you get that title for the book from?
So the title actually came to me in April of 2017. I was working at my job and I was getting ready to give a presentation in the boardroom, and I had been walking in heels all day and my feet was hurting. So, like, all day.
I wouldn't have expected that.
No, they were hurting bad. I mean, hopefully you'll never wear heels. But at any rate, yeah. So
Well, I'm going to say something, bro. I swallowed that. I'm done. Go ahead, continue.
My feet were hurting so bad that I didn't know whether to take my shoes off or to keep them on. And so they were just burning. And I was getting ready to give my presentation, and I was like, I gotta take my shoes off. I was like, I don't care how it looks. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if it's not professional. The only way for me to be effective is to take my shoes off. So I took them off, and one of the VPs looked at me and he was like, Shara, you're barefoot in the boardroom. That's a book title. And I was like, you're right. So I wrote it down on my phone. And that was several years ago. And then in 2020, I decided to start writing a book.
Nice. So, like you got a book and everything, man, but what even led you to even write a book? Like what's your story, if you don't mind sharing? Because, you know, what brought you to this point to now you're writing books and things and stuff?
That's a good question. So my very first book was actually titled I Still Want to Be a Mom.
Oh.
And it was about my journey to have my son, who just left a little bit ago, little TJ. And it took my husband and I 8 years to have him. And we did several rounds of IVF. We had several losses, and we were praying and hoping, waiting to be parents. And in the process of that, every time I got knocked down, every time we had a loss, every time it didn't work out as planned, I kept saying to myself, but I still want to be a mom, right? Like, what do you do when there's something you want and it's not happening? And then every time you think you get close, something else knocks you down. So it was kind of one of those things where I was like, but I still want to be a mom. So if I still want that, what can I do?
Right.
And so we kept trying and kept doing more procedures, and finally we ended up having him. But through the process of that, we had a second trimester loss right before we had him. And this was like after we were able to see the baby's feet and hands and head, like the whole body. We saw the whole baby. And we lost the baby, and I was just devastated. It took me to my lowest of low, like, man, how did I, you feel like you ever feel like you're doing everything right and just things aren't still going your way?
Yeah.
So I felt like I'm doing everything that I can, everything in my power. And I had a breaking point where I just yelled out, I'm not in control,
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually, I think, where God wanted me to be, at a point where I'm not in control. I can't make anything happen. And at that moment, I thought all the way back, because you were asking me about my story, what led me to where I'm at now.
Right.
I thought all the way back to childhood. And I'm like, why is everything so hard for me? I don't know if anybody, the viewers, or even you have ever felt like everything that I do is hard. I have to work 10 times as hard as everybody else to get what I want. And it may not be true, but sometimes you feel that way when there's always opposition in your life. And after feeling that way, I decided, what is it that makes me who I am? How did I get to this place? And then I realized again, like, I'm not in control. And I'm like, you know what? God brought me to this place, and maybe it's for a reason. So I started shifting my mindset, shifting my focus, and wrote the book, I Still Want to Be a Mom. And then after that, applied to do a TED Talk. And did a TED Talk about my journey to have him. But it was like that moment unlocked something in me to realize, like, oh, I can do this. Like, I can write a book, I can do talks, I can do all this stuff. And it was like a defining moment. So I feel like if I never went through all those 8 years to try to conceive a child and had all that heartache and all that pain and did the internal work to address the inner child in me that was hurting, I wouldn't be where I am today. That's how I feel.
Now, you were talking about experiencing difficulties in your childhood. What were some of those tough moments that you dealt with in your childhood that were difficult?
A lot of them. The most significant one, I'll say, was, so I was taken away from my biological parents when I was probably like 1 or 2, and I lived in a home, and then I moved to another home, and I think the second or third place was, I was too young. I'm going off of hearsay, what people tell me, but the second or third place that I lived in, that lady adopted me. She was 69 years old.
Wow.
So I was like 2 or 3, and she's 69 years old. And so she had children who were like in their late 40s and 50s who were upset. They were upset that why would you get this little child to take care of and you're older.
Right.
And she was kind of sickly as well too. And so needless to say, I stayed there, and probably about when I was like 6 or 7, I don't remember how old I was. It was before, so she adopted me probably at like 8, but probably when I was about 6 or 7, her sister was washing my hair in the sink. And, you know, back then, I don't know if people still do it, but you have those little tubs that you put in the sink of like a dishpan type thing.
Yeah.
And so there was a dishpan on one sink full of water, and the other sink was, you know, just empty. And so in the middle of doing my hair, I began to like cry and squirm because she was combing it, and then she stuck my head inside of the water, like it was kind of drowning me in the water. And I was devastated. And I mean, she finally like let me up. Of course, she didn't drown me to death because I'm still here. But at any rate, at that moment, they had already been, been mistreating me. I'm not crying or getting emotional or anything. I'm just
Yeah, you should have the emotions, man. Keep with this woman.
I know y'all was gonna be asking me all this stuff.
Oh, we going there, man.
But
We're going
at any
there,
rate,
man.
I had said to myself, I'm going to tell Children's Services, because prior to that, they had been mistreating me, but I never said anything. Like when they would come visit to check on me or whatever, I wouldn't say anything. But I was like, enough is enough. This is it. So they came to visit the 2 Children's Services workers, and they asked me, you know, hey, how's everything going? And I'm like, straight to the point, everything's not going good. Here's what happened. She tried to drown me, so on and so forth, get me out of this house. And so they were like, all right, we are going to work on it, and whatever else they said. And as a 6-year-old, right, what do you do to make sure that somebody's telling the truth? You offer your pinky. You're like, all right, pinky promise that you know. And so I made them promise that they were going to get me out of the home. And so I'm thinking when they left, like, all right, I'm about to get out of this house. I'm going to be free, all this stuff. And a couple hours went by, and then it was time to take my nightly bath or whatever. So I start taking my bath, and next thing I know, the lady came in to the bathroom where I was at with like a belt or a switch or something, and just started like whooping me while I was in the tub. And, you know, you're soaking wet, so if you get hit when you're wet, it hurts especially.
Yeah.
And even though it hurt, it didn't hurt as bad as me being betrayed.
Right.
Wow.
So physically I was hurting, right? But emotionally, I'm like, wait a minute. Because as she was hitting me, she began to share, like, why did you tell them, da, 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 you know? And my little spirit was crushed. And I'm like, I can't trust anybody. And as a child, right, sometimes you make inner vows to yourself. When something happens, you're like, never again. I don't know. Mostly everybody has had a moment like that, a defining moment where you say something to yourself and you're like, never again. And so it was one of those moments for me where I was like, I can't trust anybody. I don't need anybody. I'm going to prove it. And I'm going to succeed. I'm like all these things. And so I shut myself out from that moment. And so I went through life with those set of beliefs, with that mantra, like, I don't need nobody. So by the time I was an underclassman,
That was terrible such a word. I'm sorry, man.
but by the time I met you, like when I was in, you know, high school, you remember I was fighting all the time.
Yeah.
Now then, of
No
course, I
way.
didn't.
Yeah.
That's
another reason why we
She
were so
was
cool.
fighting, bro?
Yeah, just knock out, knock cut
Gasoline on the face, nut going up.
Yeah, no, none of that.
None of that, just straight. You
On
say
site.
something,
On site, yeah.
On site, no arguing. My motto was, I'll hit you first.
That's
I
right.
think you missed your call. You should have been in UFC.
Maybe.
Should have been an author. You should have been in UFC. No, I'm just kidding.
I still have hands though.
Oh, let's
Okay,
go.
twist.
They not just some friends. She said she still got them hands.
What is that song? Try Jesus? Don't try me.
Let's go.
For real.
I still remember. It's been a while, but it's been a while.
So you would fight a lot in high school.
Yeah, I would fight a lot in high school because now I know it was because I was angry, I felt rejected, and I felt like I'm gonna get you before you get me.
Right.
So I'm never gonna be vulnerable again. I'm never gonna open up. I'm never gonna trust. I'm gonna take care of myself. And even though I can be friends with people and make handshakes and do all that stuff, I'm not gonna let anybody get to the place where I feel like they actually know me or have an opportunity to hurt me. And when you're hurt, you want to hurt other people.
Right.
And so then, and you get offended easily. So even if you recognize adults now who aren't healed, those are the people that the minute somebody says something, they're offended. And it's like, why are you offended? How do you know that they're not having a bad day? How do you know that they're talking about you? Like, whatever. And so in my mind, I was telling myself, everybody's just like the people who betrayed my trust. Now, I didn't verbally say that, but there was something embedded on the inside of me that felt that way. And I was angry. And so when I think about my childhood, I went through a whole lot, but that was probably one of the most, I would say, significant things that happened because it changed and altered my emotions. It made me angry and it made me not trust people. And it took me all the way into my 30s to even get through all that and to understand. And then just rewinding back to the story about having my son, I mentioned earlier that I felt like, why does everything have to be so hard for me?
Yeah.
Well, that moment, losing the baby, took me all the way back there where I started thinking, why is my life like this? Like, why? I'm trying to do the right thing, and then I keep getting knocked down. Meanwhile, I see this one doing this and doing that and doing that and doing, you know. And it was just, I had to confront that little girl who felt like I didn't need anybody, who felt like I didn't trust, because the reality was it was hard to truly trust God to give me the miracle of a child. And so I think when I released all that, I got to the place where I'm like, I don't have to control this. As a matter of fact, I can't. I can't make anything happen. All I can do is my best and trust God to do the rest. And it was like a weight lifted off of me and a freedom, even to the point where I was thinking, I had shut everybody out. And I'm like, I don't want anybody to talk to me, you know. And then I was asking myself, why? Why do I shut myself out when I'm going through something? You know what I mean? Then I realized that was unhealthy because probably subconsciously I felt like, well, if I open up and tell somebody that I'm really hurting, they're going to take advantage of me. And so that whole situation, I think, all of it tied in together, and even to the point of, you know, having a child and being able to trust God through the process and wait, and then after that say, I'm okay with however the outcome is.
I was talking to a friend the other day, and he's going through some stuff in like his relationship. It will remain nameless. I ain't gonna shout you out, my man. But I had told him, you know, you can't heal what's not been revealed. You know, you're not honest about your hurt. You're not honest about what's going on inside of you, and revealing that to like a counselor or a good friend to get that out of your system, like your healing can't take place. You know, and just hearing you saying that, like you got to your 30s and you realized like that was the problem that was kind of like hindering me. You was going back to say like my trust was down. I felt betrayed. So, you know, we see the big ring on your finger and give you a little snippet of what's going to happen later. How were you able to trust to get to that point to get married after going through all that? How were you able to put them walls down?
Well,
it was that cheesecake, wasn't it?
It was
That's
cheesecake.
exactly what it was, man. I know what it was. Yeah, shoot, my boss fell when I had no cheesecake. Listen, now this cheese. When y'all see Time Part 2, this cheesecake this man made. Oh,
I'll give y'all snippets about that later.
Yeah, but yeah, I think because I had an opportunity to hear him talk about his goals, where he wanted to go in life, and he wasn't trying to like holler at me or anything. he was just, asking me to study with him at school.
Well, that's real game right there.
Yeah.
That's all player move right there.
Yeah, and I was sitting here. Yeah, he would ask me to come study with him early, and I'm like,
that's a gym for y'all young folks, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, does he like me?
Yeah.
Or what? And so then I was attracted to him, but I'm like, he's not saying anything. So what's going on? Like, does he like me? And so that to me let me know that he was a good guy, that he wasn't trying to just get something from me.
Right.
He wanted to get to know me.
Right.
And that was something different than what I had experienced in the past. But even though we got married and got together, I still had the emotional issues. And that's why, like, people getting in relationships, when you aren't whole and healed, I'll just speak from, he's a really good man, and he knew how to handle the hurt that I had. But sometimes it's difficult to navigate with somebody. And even like with my trust issues, just being transparent, there will be times where I feel like, in my mind, early on, it'll be 13 years coming up in January when we're married. But in the beginning, when I was still, emotionally going through that, remember, I was still in my emotions, that same little girl that felt like I don't need anybody, I don't trust anybody, I don't care. We married and all that stuff, but I got me. And so I would behave that way sometimes without even thinking about it. And I remember there was one time, this is probably whenever the Apple Watches came out, the very first one came out. Now Todd, if you know him, he operates off of a spreadsheet. So he does not buy anything that he hasn't pre-planned or pre-calculated. And I'm not even exaggerating. Like,
I'm gonna ask him about that.
Yeah, he makes his budget for the next year. Like, so right now he has his budget for next year. He calculates how much gas he's going to spend per month, per week. My 40th birthday is next year. So he's been saving for my 40th birthday party for about a year and a half. Okay. Like, so he's been thinking, like, all right, her birthday's coming up. I know that she wants a 40th birthday party. So it's going to cost X number of thousands of dollars. So that means I need to start 2 years in advance, saving for that. And so he does everything just with a plan. And so even holidays, Christmas, whatever, he's calculated what he's gonna spend. And so he had already set aside a certain amount of money for my birthday this particular year when the Apple Watches came out. And I had asked him for, I don't remember what it was that I asked him for. And so he was going to buy it, but then I saw the Apple Watch and I was like, I want an Apple Watch. Well, the Apple Watch cost more than what he had originally budgeted. And so I went to him and I said, hey, I want an Apple Watch instead of whatever it was that I asked you for. And he said, well, that's not on the spreadsheet. Well, now he wasn't saying that he wasn't going to buy it, right? Sometimes as people, women, whatever, you can interpret something based on your own filter, right? So when he said it's not on my spreadsheet, he didn't say he wasn't going to get it. I immediately got defensive because the person inside me was like, so out of my mouth, I was like, I don't need you to buy me the watch anyway. I can buy it myself, and because of his character, instead of him getting upset, he looked at me and said, I know you can buy it yourself, but it wouldn't have the same significance if you bought it than it would when I bought it. And he said, I wasn't saying that I wasn't going to buy it for you. I was just saying I didn't plan for it. And that, it was almost like a dagger in my heart. So guys, that's a tip. Like, if your woman is acting a little crazy, find something to say instead of feeding into it. Maybe there's a hurt. You know what I mean? Maybe there's something that is going on, or even vice versa for the male. There's been times where he said something and I knew that it was out of a hurt place, so I had to, instead of me getting upset, finding another way to get to him. And that's why we don't argue today. Like, I don't even know the last time we had it. We don't dispute. We get along. We communicate. And knowing each other, like, and after all this time, like, knowing each other and knowing that, like, okay, and him saying it wouldn't have the same significance, it made me question myself. Like, why did I feel the need to say that to him? Why did I feel the need to be like, dude, I don't need you to buy me a watch. I can buy my own watch. That it was uncalled for. Had he not responded that way, I probably wouldn't have had that reflection. And so when you ask about, like, how that worked out, even though we got married, there's still things when you're married, when you've been in a long-term relationship, that you're still working out of yourself emotionally so that you can have a healthy relationship together.
You said something earlier, I think they missed it, was that he didn't try to get nothing from you, he was trying to get to know you.
Yeah.
Women, ladies, get someone that's trying to get to know you instead of trying to get something from you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what led to their healthy marriage currently now.
Right.
You know, it wasn't no agenda. My man said, hey, come study with me. I don't know if he said it like that,
He
but
did.
he probably put a
I
little
think
sexy on
he
that
did,
thing.
man. The talk like the talk like, hey, you must study with me quick. You know, deep voice
Yeah,
and everything.
little
She's
Barry
like,
White.
Yeah, I sure do.
Hey, cutie,
What are we
come back,
studying?
come back.
Tic-tac-toe? No, geometry. Okay.
Well,
What's wrong with that
like-
light, man?
I don't know, man. Like, this message gonna go forth, bro.
I see that I like I was some of that cheesecake that Todd got. I know, like, we're on the same page, man. I'm devastated on cheese. Listen, man, I told her, I gave her a specific assignment. I specifically said something about this cheesecake 8 million times.
Pacifically.
Yeah. He trying to correct me with my words. So, you know what I'm saying? Here he see. Back to you. I'm sorry, man. We got off track, man. You can't with him, man. Because sometimes in life, you just gotta just remember that words you make up make no sense, but he makes it make sense in his mind. So,
OHIO.
I heard we go. So that's it. I'm sorry. You gotta be serious, man.
Now I'm thinking about cheesecake.
Exactly. See, Todd.
But I like that. I guarantee he was like, hey, baby. Hey, come back to my place. Remember that song, Come Over to My Place?
But she's like, you do what? To study. Got it.
I'm going to ask him that about the cheesecake, to hide his game. That's real OG game right there, though. Like, I don't want nothing from you. I just want you to know. He probably did the LL Cool J like,
Man, we just get off
no,
track
I'm done.
man.
I'm done. Man, there's more to come. We're getting ready for part 2. This is just part 1. We're going to go a little deeper, man, and we're going to have her main man, her boyfriend, her hubby, Todd on, man, and we're going to pick his brain, too. And somebody don't want this video to go forward, but it's going forward because we are the light. We are the light of the world, and we're going to shine bright like a diamond. Anything else you got to say, bro?
Hey, part 2 about to be even more fire, man. We couldn't get into it because this cheesecake got us all mesmerized and messed up right now. But we want to get more into it, though, man. Find us on IG, _corner_pocket. We on YouTube, The Corner Pocket. We on Facebook, The Corner Pocket. TikTok, The Corner Pocket. Go share with your boss. Go share with your uncle, your aunt, your mom, and tell them to go share with their boss. And share with Miss Ernestine across the street. Because she make the good brains and the pig feet. Go ahead and share, y'all. Say something.
Oh my
Hey, part 2, we back, man.
Hey man, like you kind of like I was gonna do it, but it's the thing, man. You know, are you gonna save that?
I'm saving it for part 2.
You gonna say that? Okay, I like
It's another
that.
surprise?
Oh, yeah.
Boy, y'all, shout out Barefoot in the boardroom. Cop the book. Where can they find the book at?
Wherever books are sold, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, wherever.
Oh my God, get out and support. Get that book. It caught me off guard. She was barefoot, y'all, in the boardroom giving a presentation. Oh my God, I wish I would have seen that. But part 2 is coming, man. Thank y'all for y'all support, man. Please like, share, subscribe, as my man D-Night said. We catch y'all on part 2.
Part 2.
Peace.